Hey guys, this is PhilosopherKing. How's it going? I'm here to present to you another Advanced OU battle, and I'm going to skip any introductions this time because I know how much that bores you, and I feel obliged to provide you with good battles, and I can't do that. I'm ranting. So, going through the archives, let's find a good battle. More recent one. Yeah, here we go. This next battle is against a player called Jorgen, and I've seen him on PO before, but I don't remember actually playing him or seeing him play. So we'll see how good this game is and how good of a player he is. So here we go. I lead Metagross, he leads Zapdos. Does not favor me too much. Thunderbolt will do a lot, so I get out of here and make the safe switch into Blissey. But he switches into Fortress, which is fine. I have Flamethrower, and if he stays in, his Fortress will die. But he scouts the Flamethrower, and he brings in his T-Tar, which does nothing because he recovers off the damage next turn on the switch. I bring in my Flygon, anticipating the Rock Slide, but doesn't really benefit me at all because I'm choice banded and that damage is going to be here to stay. And I go for Earthquake, he predicts that, and goes into Celebi. The amount of damage makes me think the Celebi is heavily invested in defense, so because I think it would do more, but I'm locked into Earthquake, so I gotta get out of here. And I go into my Metagross, and he predicts that pretty well. Good for him. So I gotta switch again, and we end up with another switch on both sides with me at Zapdos and him with Fortress. I'm content to stay in at this point and go for Thunderbolt, but we'll see what he does. Yeah, he tries to spike up because he knew you'd live the Thunderbolt. Would have done damage anyway, but a lot of damage anyway, but the crit takes him out, and so we're at a 6-5 game. We'll see if that crit mattered or not. I don't think it does. I bring my Fortress in here. I think he'd go for Rock Slide, but he goes for Crunch. So that makes me lets me know his T-Tar probably runs a special set, Boa, I believe it's called. I don't think I pronounced that right, but whatever. But I switch out here because that probably means he has Fire Blast, and he does. Now I go into my Zapdos to take the Fire Blast and then my Coon, and you're probably wondering why. Well, I made this team 15 minutes before I had this game, so I didn't remember I had Coon, so my bad. But I bring my Blissey into the Gengar after it took a pretty good Surf, and I anticipate him bringing in T-Tar on my Blissey, and so I use HP Grass. So pretty good prediction on my part. I bring my Metagross thinking to go for Rock Slide, but he goes for Crunch again. So, you know, it did a pretty good chunk, but not enough for me to be concerned. And his Swampert comes in my Metagross, so I switch again, and now, yeah, his Zapdos takes out my Fortress with a crit Thunderbolt. So, any damage that my crit did is negated completely by his crit, so it's a fair game once again. So yeah, I bring in my Flygon on his Thunderbolt. I don't know why I brought Coon in. I believe it was a misclick, but no matter. I switch here, scouting for the HP Ice, but he doesn't show it. But the switch makes me think he doesn't have it, but who knows. So I go into Zapdos again, anticipating the Earthquake, and I use Toxic, trying to get the Swampert, but instead I hit the Celebi. And that's bad for me because now he has information that I have Toxic, and it hits an extra Cure Poke, so that doesn't actually stay. So that's bad for me. I use HP Ice to see how much damage it will do and to scout out his set, and he shows me Leech Seed, which makes me think with Recover that it's just the standard Psychic, Calm Mind, Leech Seed, Recover, Celebi. And I take the opportunity to bring in my Flygon on the Recover, and I use HP Bug, but he switches, and I hit his Swampert, and it does a pretty good amount, 24%. But I'm not going to wait here for this Ice Beam, which I thought was coming, but instead uses Earthquake, predicting a switch. So good for him. I bring my Suicune in, and I decide to use Ice Beam on the next turn. It's anticipating him thinking I'd use Surf, and he brings in his Celebi, so good prediction on my part. I anticipate Recover and Calm Mind up, and now I'm just going to use Ice Beam. It does 55%, and he decides to use Perish Song, which makes me think he doesn't have any way to phase my Suicune. So, yeah, since I'm doing more damage than he's able to recover, he should switch out now, because I'm not going to switch out and let him recover any health. So I'm going to wait until turn 1 and just keep using Ice Beam. So unless, yeah, I recommend him getting out of here. Get away with as much as he can. Otherwise, unless he wants to die with the Perish Song, he's not going to be able to recover. And I almost kill him with Sandstream plus Ice Beam. So, yeah, I feel that was bad on my opponent's part, but it is what it is. We both switch out on turn 1 of Perish Song. We get Flygon on Gengar. That's bad for me. I anticipate the Ice Punch, but I get frozen by it. But no worries. I have HP Fire, which allows me out. But it allows him to get a Thunderbolt off with no damage. But I use Meteor Mash. He sends in Zapdos, which I don't know why. I mean, he has Swampert, and it would take less damage, but maybe he thought I'd use Earthquake on an anticipated switch, so maybe an overprediction on his part. But once again, I bring the Flygon on his Thunderbolt, and that his switching out makes me really think that he doesn't have HP Ice. So I'm just going to keep doing that. I mean, I have been doing that, but I'm going to keep doing it. I bring in Zapdos on an Ice Beam, which I should have saw coming because, you know, I had Flygon out. But I decided to fire off my Zapdos in order to land Toxic on the Swampert, which I thought was a fair trade, but I'm sure many would disagree with me. So let me know in the comments what you think I should have done, or if you agree with me. But anyway, I bring in my Coon on the Swampert, and I use Surf. I didn't see why not. And he fires off his Celebi to bring in his Zapdos, so we're at a 4-4 game right now. I'm obviously going to switch here and go into Blissey, which is the safe switch. And I believe I see the T-Tark coming again, but instead of going for HP Grass, which I was tempted to do, I decided to go into Flygon, and I thought maybe he'd go into Zapdos or Gengar, anticipating the Earthquake, and so I go for Rock Slide, but he makes the safe switch and goes into Swampert, which is fine for me too, because the Toxic is negating any leftovers recovery he could possibly gain, so whatever damage I do is there to stay. So I bring in Coon on an Earthquake, and on the anticipated switch I decided to rest up my Coon. He predicts I'm bringing Flygon and Zapdos, which I've been doing the entire game, so good for him. Switch out again, and yeah, he uses Ice Punch, so I predicted that correctly. I go for Meteor Mash again, and I get a lucky Attack Raise, so I have to stay in here. Don't know why he decided to stay in. Maybe he thought the Thunderbolt would kill, or he could live the boosted Meteor Mash, but it is what it is. So now we're at a 4-3 game. Toxic is getting annoying for the Swampert, but I'm not comfortable staying in regardless. I could explode here, but he still has the Gengar, and I don't want to explode my Metagross for anything. So I don't really like to explode my pokes. I don't know how ethical exploding your Pokemon is, but you know, it's just one of those curious things that it's on my mind every time I think about the move Explosion, but whatever. Anyway, I bring in my Coon on the Swampert and try to wake it up, and he brings in his Gengar, which will do a lot, which is pretty good against a sleeping Coon. I switch my Blissey in anticipation of Thunderbolt, but he double switches and goes into T-Tar, which is bad because Blissey doesn't like physical sweepers. And so, thinking he'd go to Rock Slide, I go to Flygon, but he uses Crunch, which is a lot more. I'm fine with it. Now I just gotta decide if I'd use Rock Slide or Earthquake. I opt for the former, and yeah, it doesn't work out. I over-predicted. I thought he might go into Gengar, but he doesn't. So now we're at 3-3. This T-Tar is the only thing keeping him in the game at this point, because Blissey could stall out anything else. And he reveals, the Gengar reveals he has Destiny Bond, because my Kun was supposed to wake up, and I guess that turn, so I guess he thought I would, yeah, go for it, but I go to Bliss. I Calm Mind up here, thinking I could take out the T-Tar with HP Grass. I had a feeling it wouldn't work. Actually, I kind of believe it didn't. Past experience told me it wouldn't, but I decided to do it anyway for whatever reason, so that was kind of a blunder on my part. And I don't really want to stay in here because a Rock Slide, if that doesn't kill me, the Sandstream will. So I'm definitely getting out of here. And I go to what I should have gone before, which is that was his cue. Yep, there he is, Kun, and takes the Rock Slide like a beast, and yep, he fires off his T-Tar to bring in the Gengar, and yeah, it's pretty much over at this point. My Blissey can take pretty much anything his remaining pokes can give, and just, yeah, set up with Calm Mind. Goes for Giga Drain, cover some health. I would have just gone for Thunderbolt there, but it is what it is. I could just stall out the Swampert with Soft Boiled, but I decided to speed things along and just use HP Grass. And yep, Swampert's gone, and yep, my opponent takes the opportunity to forfeit because he sees the futility of going on, and the final score is 3-1 with me winning. I thought it was a good game overall. My opponent obviously knew what he was doing, but just by the way he switched and double switched and predicted, he's an experienced player. I think he's a pretty good player. I just happened to win this game. If we played another game, I'm sure he would have just as good a chance to beat me that next game. But the reason why I brought you this game is because I thought it was a good example of just the level of play needed to be good at the game, because part of the game is prediction, part of the game is trying to figure out what your opponent's going to do. And for most of the game we were switching, double switching, predicting with our moves, and I thought that was pretty cool, and I thought it was a good video to show you that. But anyway, let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, comment, and until next time, this is PhilosopherKing signing out.